What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about what is it really like living in London. Today, I want to hear from people who are actually living in London and what they have to say about it. What do they love about it? Is there anything that they don't like about it? What exactly is it like living in London? As an American, I have no idea. So I'm actually really curious to hear from people who actually have this experience living in London and their thoughts on it. So, with that being said, let's take a look.
What's your name?
Inish.
Inish, what's something you love about London?
Something I love about London is the fact that it's a big melting pot. You just find people from all over the world, all around the world. Yeah, that's something we don't really have in Portugal.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's actually a great one to start off with. So, London is obviously a huge, famous city, like all over the world. It's definitely the most famous, like, UK city for us Americans. Most Americans have a dream of visiting London at least once in our lives, and it's really cool to hear about this multiculturalism, in that it sounds like there's just a lot of people from all over the world who travel to London and live there as well.
The multiculturalism,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
The one thing I love about London is its history and its culture, and that it's
Yeah.
a welcoming space for everybody to come visit.
A welcoming space. We are going to be welcome with open arms. Even us Americans, a welcoming space. Oh, this is great. I know she meant that in like a general sense, but I like that. And also, I really like her touching on probably one of the biggest selling points of London for tourists, at least, in that it's very historical and beautiful, and it's got all this history and architecture and cool stuff that you just can't find here in the United States. That's huge for like Americans visiting, I think, but that's also, I never really think about it as a person living in London. You get to enjoy that all the time. Like, that's just something you get to see on a daily basis, which is pretty incredible, like, to think about. There's people who actually just live their life in London. Like, I never put myself in that point of view.
Now, on the flip side, is there something you hate about London?
Oh,
I hate that everybody comes here to visit, and I hate that it's
All the people like me.
No,
oh no. Oh no. No, wait. She said that she'll welcome us with open arms. She will welcome us. Where did that go immediately? She she hates. I get it though. I totally get it. Like, if you lived in a major city, no matter where you are on Earth, if you're in one of those big major cities where there's just tourists and people visiting all the time, like making queues and lines really long wait times, like it's always crowded, like people who don't know what they're doing or where stuff is, and they're just there to like look at stuff, and I can see where that could be kind of annoying. Like, I could easily see that. So, okay.
I love everyone coming to visit. I hate that you have to pay so much to do cool stuff in London. Should be a lot
Now, on the other side, is there something you hate?
Yes, if you take the undergrounds during rush hour, it's absolutely mental, absolutely chaotic. You feel like a sardine inside a tin.
You feel like a sardine. That's a good analogy. So she thinks the rush hour public transport is terrible. Well, at least you even have like these public transportation systems. Like, there's no such thing in most of the United States. Like, we have a terrible public transportation infrastructure. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're in like New York City or Los Angeles, like, there's gonna be public transport, and it's probably also terrible at rush hour when everyone's like going home. But okay, that's a this is interesting. We're getting things that people love about London and things that they don't like. And so far, it's been pretty tame. Like, this is pretty reasonable stuff so far. Like, nobody likes waiting in traffic and stuff. That makes sense.
Get all sweaty, and then like you get outside and it's really cold, so you don't really know how to dress up for the underground.
It gets sweaty. I'm sorry. I had to stop it because it gets sweaty in there in the the underground. I never had such a visceral picture in my mind. I didn't know about the sweating.
And
We enjoy it, that's it.
You're working in London,
Yeah,
but
most of the time.
okay.
Okay.
What's your name?
Michael Beckett.
Michael, what's one thing you love about London?
I just love London. It's the greatest city on earth.
Oh.
I forget who it is who said it. If you're tired of London, you're tired of life.
I love that. That's amazing. And it's awesome that this guy has like such a fondness for London. Like, he's obviously somewhat of an older guy, and he still is like, if you don't love it here, you got a problem. And I think I can understand, like, I'm not really sure what it's like to live your life in a big, gigantic city, let alone London, but it must, like, be pretty cool in terms of keeping you on your toes and, like, the excitement and the hustle and bustle and activity that comes with being in a city like London. There really must not be much like that anywhere else. So that's cool to hear from his perspective.
And that is absolutely true.
Huh.
Wow. So everything.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 90 years old.
Wow.
And
What? I said he's an older gentleman. I mean, I thought he was 70? He's 90? I'm sorry, that has nothing to do with this video, but it's like, that's amazing. What's his secret? Is living in London the secret to the fountain of youth or something? What?
Is there one thing specific you dislike about London? One of the things that you wish were different?
well, I don't like the political interference.
Yeah.
Like the taxi driver couldn't drive here to the city because they've banned vehicles coming across London Bridge. As you can see, it's empty now.
They've banned vehicles going across London Bridge. I'm not exactly sure what he's referring to with, like, these political issues that he's talking about. I'm trying to follow along. And a taxi driver couldn't drive into London, or that sounds annoying. I'm not exactly sure what he means though.
Oh, I see.
But I mean, originally you just get a bus from the tube or a taxi, not a bus.
So a lot of bureaucracy, stuff
yeah,
like that.
there's too much bureaucracy,
Okay.
interference in daily life. Say that.
Okay.
Well, what's one thing you love about London?
Something that we love about London is it's very happening. So people are very happy, busy.
Yeah.
So it's a happening place.
What a choice of word. A happening, cool place. But seriously, it's not even really a joke. I think that's truthfully what a lot of people would say. I don't know if they'd use the word happening, but it's one of the most famous cities on the planet. Like, for us Americans and maybe other people around the world who've never been to London or the UK, all we have is just this idea, this concept of London. It's just this cool place with cool stuff. It's got Big Ben, it's got palaces, and other than that, I don't really have that much else to go on. It's got lots of multiculturalism and restaurants, like of all sorts, shapes and sizes, and cool businesses and roads and buses, but I kind of like hearing some of the specific things that these people being interviewed have to say about London. That's really helpful for me.
Yeah.
That's something we like about London. And something that we don't like about London is something similar. It's very busy, really busy. People are really busy. And then
That actually seems so far to be the most common complaint about London. is just how busy it is. Well, it's funny. It's like she said, it's one of the best things about London is that it's busy and there's a lot of stuff. And one of the worst things is that it's really busy, which can be annoying.
Then
One thing we like most is the the mix of culture. I mean the
Yeah.
versatility in in the
Yeah.
city. It has so many people, so many diverse culture, so many.
That's really cool, especially as an American. Like here in America, in most like of our towns and cities, it's not very multicultural at all, to be frank. Maybe if you go into some of our bigger cities, but even still, it's nothing like what London appears to be, especially since London and the UK is just geographically positioned in such a unique spot. It's much closer to like the rest of Europe, obviously. So it feels like a lot more different people from different cultures can get to London a lot easier than maybe they could get to the United States. So this is really cool to hear about.
Many places to visit.
You said you're from Sheffield.
Yeah.
Is it less diverse? Is it like a different feeling?
Yeah,
What's I've never been there.
Yeah,
Sheffield is more like a steel. It's industrial base, so it's a
Okay,
steel
okay.
city.
So,
It's
yeah.
more.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean the population wise, the the people there aren't many mix of.
Like I can't help but be distracted by all the people walking around even. Like that should tell you, like that's even different from what I'm used to. There's lots of noise and people walking around like on their feet. They're not driving in cars. They're actually walking, which is I couldn't help but point that out that's kind of different for me.
People there in Sheffield.
Oh, very cool.
In London, it's like you can meet, you run into almost all the people in the world.
First of all, are you from London? Did you move here?
I moved here a year and a week ago.
A year and a week.
Yeah.
Awesome. So after
They moved here a year ago. Okay, this is from the perspective of someone who didn't grow up in London, but moved there. And they asked not to be shown on camera. What is that? What is this, like an FBI like police investigation? Like you don't want to be shown? What are they about to say?
a year in London, what do you love? What do you hate?
Food options, absolutely love.
Food.
What do I hate? The tube. I hate getting on the tube.
That's it. There's some patterns here, similarities in the answers. People love the multiculturalism, and that extends into the food, I think. And they all hate the tube. What did that other person say? Because it's sweaty.
Just too crowded, or what do you hate about it?
Too crowded, too hot, too busy, and like peaceful, quiet.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
Maybe could you tell me in French what do you think of London? Do you like the city? Either one who would like to answer.
French.
Oui.
On aime beaucoup Londres, on s'y sent bien, on pense même à y habiter un jour, si c'est possible.
Like, this is what I'm talking about. You are not finding French people like in the United States who are coming like that. That would be like so extraordinarily rare.
On aime l'ambiance, les gens, les choses à visiter.
London is a beautiful city, and there is a lot of people in this city, and it's very cosmopolitan city.
Okay. Yep. Very big. That's like the same thoughts. I wish they would give a little more detail, a little more insight, because like when you're just saying, yeah, it's a big city, it's like, okay, even I know that.
So you said you're an international student?
Yes.
Where are you from originally?
Canada.
Oh, I'm Canadian too.
Oh, okay.
sorry.
Yeah, visiting from Montreal.
Oh, I'm from Toronto.
Very cool. Okay, so you're from Toronto, you're in London.
Yeah.
What do you love about the city?
I love that you can walk to a lot of places. Like, I don't really mind taking like a 15-minute walk, especially when the weather is nice. Like,
Seriously, that's, believe it or not, like I'm on the same page. That would be different. Would I enjoy walking? I don't know. It would be interesting though. It'd be cool to think that I could like just walk and within 15, 20 minutes of me is a lot of cool stuff. That, because most of the way that the United States, our cities and towns are set up, is that stuff isn't close enough to you to just be able to walk to it. Also combined with that we are lazy and I don't want to walk. So I like the idea of walking, but maybe not maybe not in practical application.
Don't do that in Canada. You drive everywhere. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if it's like a 10-minute walk, you'll drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a walking culture here.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like it here.
That's
Now, on the
good.
flip side, is there something
That's good for you. That's good. That's like good for you. Literally, like healthy for you. So yeah. I wish I liked that more.
something you hate?
One thing that I hate about London would probably be just how often it's raining. It's like
Oh.
gloomy all the time, and
Oh.
today the weather's great, but usually it's not that great.
Very
Yeah.
What? So that's not like a stereotype? That's like a thing that people say about London, and I think kind of like England or Britain in general is that it's raining. And so that's funny to me. She actually confirms this. She's like, it's always raining in London. So that's actually true. That's not an exaggeration. Wow.
Yeah.
cool. So Toronto's also a big city. Do you have like a favorite, or is that too hard to ask?
Toronto, it's
Like Toronto versus London, any thoughts? Obviously
Oh.
walkability. Anything else that's like super different here?
okay, Toronto versus London. I think that I like how the streets look better in London. I think in Toronto
Ah.
it gets a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, just looking down this street, you got tree. It's nice that they actually try to put trees in the city. I think that helps a lot. And already in the distance, like this is just a random shot of a street, and in the distance there's like some kind of like tower or something. Like the fact that that's how it is, you just point the camera in a random direction, and there's like a beautiful. I don't know what this tower is in the way in the background, but that's cool. That's really cool.
Crowded in a breaker area. You know how here it's like only in like sections and stuff. I think it might be cheaper to live in Toronto. That's the thing.
Ah,
I think anywhere
really?
might be cheaper than here.
I think a lot of places.
Is that a thing? Is that a thing that London is known for? Being expensive. Ah, that's a good one. I like that they're trying to be like balanced here and say a good thing about living in London and then maybe a bad thing. And this is, we've heard like going on the tube, how busy stuff is and how expensive stuff is. Like if you're visiting London as a tourist, I think you have the mentality, you have the mindset of like, whatever. Like you're ready to pay. Like whatever. It's a cool trip you're going on into the big city of London for the first time and maybe only time if you're American. And whatever, it's going to cost a lot of money. You go in expecting that and prepared to spend money. But if you live in London, that's just annoying, right? That's got to be just annoying. That's got to be just a downside. But it's kind of like the price of living, like in the hub of Britain. Like London, the biggest city where all this stuff is. I guess that's kind of the price you pay.
Places are cheaper than London. But yeah.
But it's also interesting that it sounds like even compared to other big cities around the world, London is somehow like maybe the most expensive. Would that be fair to say?
Wait a minute, let me think about.
The hate comes before the love.
Well, yeah, because yeah.
Are you from London?
I'm born and bred.
Born.
Oh, excellent. Okay. This is someone who was born and raised in London. I'm very curious about what he has to say.
And bred,
Listen to
beautiful.
the accent. Yeah?
What do you love about London?
The thing I love about London is always something to do. Always.
Right.
Never get bored with London.
I like that. I love that. That seems to be someone else earlier said something like this, like if you're bored of London, then you're bored of living. I think he said. It sounds like he would completely agree here.
Beautiful.
The reason
Now-
I don't like it
Uh-huh.
is probably the crime levels.
Oh,
That's what I don't like.
You said
crime. Oh, I like that we're going here. This is something I have not heard before. Crime in London. And I don't think that's really something they talk about, like, here in the United States. So maybe he'll say more on this.
you were born here. Have you seen a change in that? Has it got worse? Has it always been this way?
I think it's got worse.
Wow.
I think it has.
Yeah.
But there again, we're all on social media so much, so we're all aware of just what crime's taking place. If
True.
social media wasn't there, we wouldn't be so aware.
That's a good
True.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you wonder if it's just the perception. Yeah.
You do, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, very, very good observation. He has noticed more crime in London. Now, to be fair, I think every big city in the world is going to have more crime. I don't know if there's more crime, like how London is more expensive than other big cities. Does it have more crime? Or like the average expected level of crime? I don't know. And like he was saying, maybe we're all just more aware of crime and the horrors of the world thanks to the internet and social media. But I really enjoyed that observation. So anyway, we are at the end of the video. That was fascinating. Fantastic. This was by The New Travel, and I got to give it a like. I really love that they just went up to random strangers in London. Some of these people were visiting. Some of them have lived in London for a short time. And some of them, like this guy, have lived in London their whole life. So we got a variety of takes. And I think for the most part, it was positive. A lot of wonderful things people had to say about London. And the bad things weren't like that bad, or they didn't like blow my mind. It's like people are the public transportation is too busy and smelly, which is funny to me. And it's expensive, and there's a lot of tourists, and it's really crowded, and that can get annoying, but it doesn't matter because they love living in London. So that's basically what I took away from it, and I really enjoyed hearing about this. So anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on life in London. I don't know if you're watching this and you happen to live in London or have visited London. Maybe you could speak to what it's really like. That'd be fascinating to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Britain and British culture and stuff about Britain I've never learned before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.